Hello, and welcome back to the podcast where you are invited for lighthearted conversations about things that matter as you seek to live your most meaningful, beautiful, and joyful life. I'm your host, Dr. Edie Wadsworth, and I hope you enjoy your stay here at the House of Joy. And so I used to look at routine or rhythm or, your rituals that you have in your life. I used to look at that as like, oh, that's boring, or, that doesn't feel fun.
To me, morning has always been like, enjoy your morning and have a slow morning. And ideally, like, if I was gonna wake up early, it's not to like go to work.
Right. You make decisions about how you want your schedule to be one time, and then you just get to live in those decisions until maybe it doesn't work anymore. I think a lot of people feel that way, where you're just constantly, you're going from like one sort of mini crisis to the next, or kind of reacting to everything instead of you deciding what you want your schedule to be.
When you don't have intention for a week, like
it just goes by.
It's just gonna go by.
Yeah. Your calendar is really a reflection of your values, and at the end of the week, I just want to have lived in a way that reflects what's really important to me.
I can so notice a settledness in myself because I know I show up for myself every day.
It's like you're telling your brain what you want it to focus on. Mm-hmm. And when you tell it what you want it to focus on, it doesn't get as distracted with the 1,000 negative things that it... Hi, everybody. Welcome back to House of Joy.
Hello. Welcome back. It's been so long
since we've
been sitting in the chair. We say that every time, but we've been traveling. We've been doing lots of fun things. We've had a lot of things happen in between episodes.
We have. And today, ironically enough, after all of that crazy schedule, we were talking about the power of routine.
The power of routine.
So I'm really excited about this one and how creating a powerful routine unlocked your creativity, joy, purpose. So I'm excited about this one.
I am too. I wanted to start off the episode. We used to do this in the beginning and it kind of just fell off, but we love and appreciate your reviews, and we just love reading through them. And I wanted to highlight a review today and just tell you, if you want to be featured, we're going to try to keep doing this every episode to highlight some of the wonderful things that you guys are taking away from the podcast. And so if you want to be highlighted on one of the episodes, go ahead and leave a review on Apple Podcasts. You can also rate on Spotify, or leave a comment on YouTube.
Perfect.
But I was going to read one. This is from Carla Jo H. So Carla Jo, thank you so
Carla
much.
Jo.
She said, I have been following Edie for years, and she just has an amazing approach to encouraging women to live their best life to their full potential. It's always a bonus when she includes her daughter on the podcast as well.
Aw, thank you.
Thank you so much. That means a lot. I think it's so cool how many people have been following you for years.
I know, we were just
still listening,
celebrating. I think we already celebrated officially on the podcast, but we still have our 1 million over there, celebrating our 1 million downloads. So we are so grateful for you. We love you. We thank you for listening. And we hope that you get something really useful and valuable out of today's episode.
Yes, so, I know this one is a very timely topic, as they usually are. Because I've been working really hard. I've been proud of myself because I've been really focused on my routine.
You really have been in it.
I've been in it, and I genuinely have seen such a difference in my weeks and my attitude and my productivity. So I have been experiencing this.
Yeah, and I think this is something that I've been doing for a long time, but I continually, reevaluate it. I love the way I currently kind of have my calendar blocked off and set up, but in the last few weeks, I've been thinking about it even more. Like, okay, we're about to be in a transition where it's going to be summertime. So for me, that will mean, it'll be changing a little bit. But I have loved creating kind of like an ideal schedule where what I normally do is create certain themes for the days of the week, being a full-time coach and entrepreneur. What I normally do is on Mondays, those are my CEO days, where I like to think, we have team meetings, and I like to think about working on my business instead of like coaching and teaching in my business.
Yeah.
So I schedule a lot of my meetings on Mondays. This past Monday, I had our team meeting, and then I had a finance meeting, and then I had another short meeting with another coach, kind of like, again, thinking about working on my business. And then on Tuesdays are normally my teaching days. On Wednesdays, that's kind of light, so it's a flexible day for me. And on Thursdays, I coach. And then on Fridays, I have my grandbabies. And I've been doing that version of a schedule probably for about 2 years. Mm-hmm. And I love having kind of like theme days. Yeah. It reminds me of ye olden days when women would be like, I do my laundry on Mondays.
It is helpful when, especially, I mean, I guess when you work from home, when you get to make your own schedule. Yeah. It is really helpful to kind of preset what each day looks like so that you're not just like up in the air about what you're doing every day. But something that's really, I remember the moment where I was like, all right, I've got to get some sort of routine in place because I'm overwhelmed. And we've talked about this in an episode where like looking at your calendar can feel like, I mean, we're all busy, so it's easy to look at your calendar and be like, how am I going to get all this done and be a happy person? Yep. And we were on our way to Savannah one day, and we were driving in the car, and it was like the beginning of April. And so like I had my April like planner out, and like the beginning of April, we're writing down our goals. And I started making a list of all the things that we had left for the wedding. And I was feeling like, oh my gosh. And one of my goals is Han gets back in August. Our wedding is in October. And so I really want to be present when he gets back in August. Right. And not have
to have
pushed
a lot of it done. Yeah.
Everything until the very end. And so that's why I began, writing the list, because I was like, well, if I'm going to have it mostly done by August, I need to figure out like what I need to be doing. And it got to the point where like literally April already, I was like, oh, I need to have this figured out by this weekend, this figured out by this weekend.
By the way, everyone, one of those things on your list was hair and makeup, and you still haven't been able to find someone to do hair and makeup. So if you know someone,
please help me. If you live in the Chattanooga, Knoxville, Nashville Atlanta, literally anywhere around there, and you know someone who does bridal hair and makeup who's not fully booked for October 25th,
please send them our way.
I did not know that October was like
it's the most popular wedding
we did not know that. We had no idea, and I have just been, I booked all these things super far in advance, and hair and makeup just did not cross my mind that would be something that would be completely
so hard to book,
which I should have known.
I mean, I did tell Emily May, you are in a family full of people who love hair and makeup.
I technically probably could figure it out. I just don't want to be stressed on my wedding day and feel the pressure of like doing my own hair and makeup, which I totally think I could do it. But anyway, I have reached out to, I would say, upwards of 10, 15 people. Every single one of them is booked.
Wow.
On my wedding date.
Okay, podcast friends, we need your help.
So I want to get a hair trial, makeup trial. I might do my own makeup, but I would love for someone to do my hair. Anyway, if you guys know anybody,
let us know.
I'm getting a little desperate.
Okay, so now back to the routine. I think most people, myself included for a long time, you included, because you definitely, I think, were resistant of this at first, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, myself too. Feeling like, no, I just want to be spontaneous. I just want to feel like I'm in the mood to do something. I used to say that to myself all the time when like doing creative content. Like, no, I need to be in the right quote unquote mood.
Like
inspired or whatever. And so I used to look at routine or rhythm or, your rituals that you have in your life. I used to look at that as like, oh, that's boring, or, that doesn't feel fun, or that's not going to give me my best, creative work or whatever. But I read a book years ago by Elizabeth Gilbert called Big Magic, and she talks about, and most of the books that I've read on being a good writer or being a creative is that no, you just schedule a time to do your work and inspiration knows where to find you.
Yeah.
I'm doing my work every morning. So for me, when I'm doing my deepest work usually is early in the morning. I wake up around 4:30 or 5. I usually get an hour and a half or 2 hours of good solid work in that early before anybody else gets up. And for me, that allows me then to feel like, gosh, almost no matter what happens throughout the day, I got my main work done through the day. And so it's kind of to Liz Gilbert's point, it's kind of like creativity knows where to find me. I'll be sitting in my chair doing my work in the mornings.
Yes. And I always thought you were I'm not going to lie. I always thought you were a little crazy for that one because
you're like, why are you?
To me, morning has always been like, enjoy your morning and have a slow morning. And ideally, like, if I was going to wake up early, it's not to like go to work.
Right.
Go straight to work.
Yeah.
But, it's so interesting.
I know. Emily May has now adopted my early morning work sesh.
Joined a new gym. Yep. And they have a class and it's at 9:30. And I love going to the class because I know some of the girls in there and it's just more fun. But the problem was like 9:30 is a weird time because it's also like 20 minutes away from our house. And so it's like you have to leave actually at 9 and then you get there at 9:30, work out for an hour, you leave at 10:30. Don't get home till 11.
Yeah.
So that's a huge chunk of your day.
Right.
And I had listened to this podcast with Mel Robbins and they were talking about how, I don't know, this is kind of random, but it flows into my morning routine. So I decided, first of all, okay, if I'm going to go to the 9:30 class, then I need to wake up at 5. And that was actually one of my 90-day goals to wake up at 5 to be able to get this list done.
Oh, okay.
It was like part of it. Like if I'm really going to get all of this stuff done, I need to start waking up at 5 and plan my day every day.
Prioritize it. Yeah.
So anyway, I was waking up at 5 and then I listened to, I've been waking up at 5-ish.
Yeah.
5:30, a range. And I was listening to this podcast, and I've heard this said before. I can't remember the doctor that was on. Some doctor was on her podcast.
Yeah.
And talking about just women's brains and bodies and the best way to support, like, women's health. And she was talking about how it's really good to get 30 grams of protein, like, 30 minutes after waking up. Mm-hmm. And she was talking about her protein coffee. And instead of, like, eating, 3 eggs or whatever.
Right.
She will just have protein coffee.
Yes.
Or protein mixed into her coffee. And so I started waking up at like 5:30, pretty much immediately making that protein coffee. Immediately that hits my head and I like feel really energized. And I started getting like 2 to 3 hours of work done before going to the gym.
I know, it's the absolute best.
And it has literally like, I can't tell you unless I've been out of town. I like crave to wake up and make that coffee and go
and get your stuff done.
My stuff done.
I took a course years ago and this guy was like, he would run Facebook ads that were basically like, I know everybody tells you get up, meditate, do your workout like that. What you're talking about, like these sort of productive mornings or the opposite of that, like slow mornings. And I literally find that my day goes so much better if I get my main things done that I need to get done for the day. If that's write an email, if that's write a new class, if that's, it's usually something related to that.
Well, and this is where I think it's super important to learn yourself and learn your body because to know what chronotype you are.
Yes.
And what time of the day is your most productive.
Best. Yes.
And what I've learned is that like I am the most energetic and most productive in the morning.
Yeah.
And my Oura ring supports that. Like that is the time of day. And so knowing that, I really do feel so much better about the things I get done at that time to where after I come back in from my workout, I don't feel this like, oh, dang, I just spent 2 hours there. I'm like, oh, no, I already got 2 hours, that 2 hours of work done anyway.
Yeah.
And now I can come home and get more done.
Yes. And for everybody else, that might be something different. Like, who knows? It could be house chores. It could be, you know, like the main things that you need to get done in your house.
You might not be the type of person to wait, you know, you might not be the most energized
at that time.
Yeah. And if you're the most energized at 2 to 3 or, you know, 12
correlate
to 3.
the work where you need the most brain power and the most energy for the time when you feel the most energized. Yeah. But I think especially with my kind of ADHD-ish brain, I resisted this for years, but I function so well on a routine. And I've been on this same routine for a long time, you know, with slight variations, like I said, in the summertime or whatever. But I like things, for instance, like when I'm going to run errands, I will kind of keep a list of things that I need to do, like while I'm out.
Yes.
I would never like just leave the house. I mean, almost never would I just leave the house to go run an errand. I would keep a list of errands. And then when I go out, usually it's when I'm on the way back from the gym, I'll stop, you know, sometimes and do an errand or 2 or 3 things, you know, at the same time. When I'm making appointments, it's so easy for me to know when is a good time. Usually Wednesdays are good for me to do that because I don't have scheduled calls on Wednesdays.
Yes.
I don't have meetings on Wednesdays. If somebody's wanting to record a podcast, I would normally do that on a Tuesday. Like it kind of helps to have your day structured so that it's like you make decisions about how you want your schedule to be one time. And then you just get to live in those decisions until maybe it doesn't work anymore. But like, I remember when I decided like, okay, I'm going to go spend Fridays with the babies. Mm-hmm. Like such a fun, powerful decision. But now I know what I'm doing on Fridays, you know? Friday. Yeah. And like that kind of structure has really, really helped. And I think sometimes we resist that, or maybe because we're at a phase of life. I know a lot of women who are, you know, in my phase of life who are like, well, there's nothing giving me that structure. But I think if you give yourself that kind of rhythm, it's really, really nourishing. And then it feels easier to make decisions. You know when you're going to schedule things. You know what days you normally might go to the store. You know what days you are available for coffee or whatever.
I'm starting to see it so much more that way because I think for our specific brain type, it almost does feel like when it almost, I like being spontaneous, and so it goes against like what I think I want,
but it actually creates more room for spontaneity.
Yes. And it also just makes you feel like you're not just like throwing things out there and hoping that they stick,
or like constantly reacting to your day. You know, like I think a lot of people feel that way, where you're just you're going from like one sort of mini crisis to the next, or kind of reacting to everything, instead of you deciding what you want your schedule to be, what you want your flow of life to be.
Yeah.
And then, of course, there's going to be things that throw you off. But I think that I've just noticed so much more peace, so much more satisfaction. Like, it makes me really proud of myself because I give myself time to do these deeper tasks or do a lot of writing or whatever in the morning. And then I feel like, oh my gosh, I got so much done this week. I can remember times when I would get to the end of the week and go, where did the week go? What did I do? And I don't feel that way anymore. I can get to the end of a Friday and go, oh my gosh, I did all these amazing things in my life and in my business. I spent the whole day with my grandbabies. I did all this fun stuff with Tom. Maybe when we're recording, I recorded, podcasts. Like it's fun to get to the end of a week and be really proud of how you spent your time. And it reminds me of that Annie Dillard quote, the way you spend your days is the way you spend your life. Mm-hmm. And I think it's so true. Like when you have a good routine and you like your routine, I think you accumulate. It's like the compound effect of doing small things consistently over time. You really get momentum, in a lot of areas of your life.
Yeah. And I think it's probably, it's hard to speak to everyone's routine because everyone has such different schedules, and a lot of people work, 9 to 5 every day of the week, and probably think about schedules outside of that and feel overwhelmed because it's like, why would I want to add anything to a schedule that already
feels full,
packed full?
Yeah.
But I will say I think something I did when I worked at that kind of schedule is I wouldn't schedule anything else because it literally felt like, well, my day is literally always full anyway.
Yeah.
So I'll just try to get done what I can in the cracks of those.
Yes.
And I remember feeling so, not depressed, but just like, when you don't have intention for a week, like
it just goes by.
It's just gonna go by.
Yeah.
And you might get a couple things done for yourself or that you want to get done, but like you're most definitely not going to feel like, wow, I really was intentional about the week. And that's why Sunday planning, I feel like for anyone's schedule type, usually, well, for the most part, I know not everyone.
Plan your week. Yeah.
Planning it on a certain day.
Yes.
So that the days aren't just going by you.
Yeah. And you kind of have, I love that too, where you look at the week ahead and you can kind of already see like, oh, because I use that to kind of do meals. You guys were coming here to film today. So yesterday I told Dad, I said, oh, we should get a roast out because that could be cooking all day while the girls and I are doing our thing. And then dinner won't feel like, you know, it won't feel hard to get dinner. But you think of that when you look ahead and go, oh, what's this week going to look like? And how can I set myself up for success? How can I nourish myself the way I want to? How can I connect with the people that I want to connect with? How can I get the things done, you know, that are really important to me? And we talk about this a lot in my program because we talk about 90-day goals, but your calendar is really a reflection of your values, you know, and at the end of the week, I just want to have lived in a way that reflects what's really important to me.
Well, and like your dreams and what you want. Yeah. And I think that you said this to me one time. I can't remember, but I thought about it today when we were talking about like specific like theologies.
Yeah.
And it reminded me of one time you were like, true freedom is within the bounds of...
There's boundaries that create freedom.
That create true freedom.
Yes.
And that's not what you typically, like, assume. You think that freedom comes with no boundaries.
Right.
And I have found that when I have put these, like, boundaries on my day, like daily planning, wake up, first thing, plan my day. Yeah. Sunday, plan my week.
Yes.
Like... you do have so much more freedom to enjoy.
Yeah. And you might end up like, I mean, this happens to us all the time when we're here filming together. If we get a lot done, sometimes even before we get a lot done, but you know, we'll create time to go do something fun. We'll go play. We'll go do pickleball. We'll, you know, find something fun to do. I think that happens when you've had a good system. You have a good system in place where you know you're taking care of the things that you want to take care of, but then you also create these pockets of time where you do have freedom, and where you can do fun stuff. Like,
you know, I even think about, you know, sometimes when you don't have things super scheduled or routined out, you're still doing fun things, but in the back of your mind,
you're like, I should have done this. I
should have done this. I could be doing this.
And isn't it so much more peaceful to set the intention at the beginning?
Yeah.
I remember at the first of this year, I decided that because I was creating a new program, I was creating Master Coach training, and it was going to be a lot of extra writing and extra coaching and extra time with my clients. And I was really excited about it, but I was also like, oh, I need to build in some things that are going to help me do that. So we decided that I wouldn't do live calls the last week of the month, and that I would use that to intentionally do something fun. Here's what's been crazy. We just got back from Marcus and Amanda's wedding, and their wedding was the last week of April. So that, you know, it worked out perfect. It was so fun. I didn't have live calls scheduled. We had so many fun things that week. Your wedding will be the last weekend of last week of October. So it keeps working out for me. But that has been really good for me because it has helped me be almost like really focused the first 3 months or 3 weeks of the month. And then I get to kind of do something fun.
And I just remember a time where like thinking about planning 3 months ahead
felt like town.
Like y'all gotta chill. Like just live your life.
Just live your life.
But the thing is it really does set yourself up to actually enjoy the time that you have to enjoy, and actually be intentional and really in the moment and present for the time that you've given yourself to do that.
Yeah.
And it's not to say that, you know, you can't take a day and just scratch the schedule.
Right. Of course you should,
but
sometimes.
It's way easier to do that when you've
been
been sticking to your schedule.
Yeah. And the other thing that I think is really important, we talk a lot in Life Mentoring School about true self, like being your true self, living into your true self. And so we think about like true self rhythms. When you get to the end of your week or your month or your day or your life, what are the things that you want to have prioritized? You probably want to live a healthy life and feed yourself well and get enough exercise. But if you don't build that into your routine, it will probably, because I can remember a whole 5-year span where I did this, where I kept waiting to find time to do it instead of the way I have it in my schedule now is it's just non-negotiable.
Yes. And I think that was part of the thing. Like, it does not matter your schedule for the most part.
Yeah.
If you want to make time for things,
yes,
you probably
will. Yeah. And the better you get at planning, again, like the whole food thing, you know, we live in a tiny town where there's not great places to eat out. What that has resulted in is us cooking at home almost all the time.
Yeah.
Which is so much better for you. But it does require some planning and some forethought and making sure you have what you need. And,
Yep.
you know, like kind of like what we did today for, you know, planning for you guys to be here. So I know that the way my personality works, I want things to be new and novel and spontaneous and all of that. But I have found so much comfort and so much joy, so much satisfaction, and literally so much creativity in having a really powerful routine and rhythm that I kind of live in. It's like a flow of living that really has, I feel like, given me good health. It's given me more creativity than I ever imagined. It helps me live at peace. Like, I just feel like there's so many benefits to doing it.
It's funny too, because I've noticed I used to really be in such awe that you would like day in and day out go to the gym every morning, because you just really have no question about it. It's like, unless something else is going on, you're going to the gym every day without question.
Yeah.
And I used to feel like, what a crazy thing. Like, I just felt so impossible to me, because it's like, what if that day I want to go do something else?
Right.
Like, it's just, I've never really been that routine of a person.
Yeah, but it's kind of like what you're saying though, Em. Like, you put the boundaries that you want to live by. I want to live healthy, so movement is important. I want to live healthy, so food is important. So I put certain boundaries, right, in place, and then I just don't question.
Yes.
It's like you make the decision once.
Yes.
This is what I do.
What I've noticed is ever since I've done this, like, wake up, it's just like kind of this flow of the morning, I have not once questioned whether I was going to go to the gym.
Whether you're going to do it, yeah.
Like, the gym is happening.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because I think it is because of those things that I've set for myself.
Yep.
And it's just crazy, like, when you just don't give yourself a way out.
Yeah.
You will do it.
Yeah. And I think about, too, one of the things that we taught about last month was I love teaching on identity, because I think it's so important. It kind of informs everything that you do. But I also think it works the other way, that your routine confirms an identity. So I have built an identity that I am the kind of person who takes excellent care of herself. I get my movement in, I exercise, I eat well, I prioritize rest and sleep, because I want to show up powerfully in my life for the people in my life. So I have to, you know, make those things important. If I didn't do that, because listen, I went for years not doing that and my health crashed and it wasn't good, and I'm not any good to anybody if I don't, you know, make that a priority. But those rhythms and routines and habits confirm this identity. So, you know, it works both ways. You create the identity by the way you think about yourself, by thinking about yourself the way God thinks about you, the way he sees you, but also you're confirming that all the time in habits and routines. And it's so easy to confirm an identity that you don't want to be confirming, because I'll hear women in my program all the time say, well, I'll never be able to get healthy again. I'll never be able to get in shape again. That's totally not true for 95% of people.
Yeah.
That is a decision that you're making on the daily, and you just get in the habit of making it consistently over and over, and then it reinforces just the opposite, that you are a person who is going to take good care of herself and the people around her. So I think the way it reinforces identity is really powerful. And I've just watched women, who weren't used to doing this, weren't used to having a routine, weren't used to setting a 90-day goal, weren't used to actually living their life on purpose at all. And what I regularly observe is that when you start to get yourself kind of sorted out or situated or living intentionally in one area, it kind of snowballs into other areas. And I'm sure you've seen that too.
Yeah, it has just been really crazy to watch, maybe not necessarily like it's not huge, big changes, but it's just like I can so notice a settledness in myself because I know I show up for myself every day, and it does bring a different energy into everything I do then, because I've even noticed like my energy in the afternoon, like really that's probably not my prime time of the day. Yeah. But lately, because I just showed up for myself.
It's like you inspired yourself earlier in the day.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, I've just really noticed such a difference in just being consistent with it. Yep. And like the daily planning, I think has really helped me, and just like the intentional, like month planning and week planning and day planning. Yeah. It sounds like so much, but it literally takes like not that long for the payoff of the rest of the day. Yeah. And
you start to create, like you're saying, you create trust with yourself, which creates confidence, which liberates energy. And then pretty soon your whole day feels more energetic.
Yes. And I've noticed too, like the less rigid I can be about it, the better. So like some mornings I'll fill out my whole day. Yeah. And like a task list, like in your planner, and some days I won't even actually look back at that. Yeah. But just the rhythm of filling it out in a day, like, makes me remember. I mean, most days I am looking back. Yeah. But sometimes even just that morning of, like, writing out what I'm going to do, what my intention for the day is, like, remembering my 90-day goal, even just that in the morning, even if I don't follow what I wrote, it still helps me.
Still helps because you're setting an intention for your life. You're setting an intention for your day, and it takes you out of this sort of living on autopilot that most people are doing. Yes. And you feel more alive in your own life. You're more inspired. You're more awake. I mean, I just feel like it sets off this series of like good things in your life that seem like, kind of all of that came from one choice, one decision to do this one routine. Like even something like that can seem as simple as, I'm going to go train every day. But if I think about the snowball effect, the domino effect of that one decision, that helps me prioritize getting my other work done earlier. Yep. It helps me prioritize drinking more water. I tend to eat better. I tend to walk more steps every day just because of, getting up and traveling there and back and walking a couple of laps before the workout starts. Yep. I tend to be more energized throughout the day. I tend to sleep better at night. So you think of, one decision to do something like that has such a snowball effect. So for our dear podcast listeners, think about that. What is one thing that you could do, one rhythm, one routine that you want to? Maybe you've been putting it off for a long time. You want to, but what is that one thing that you've been feeling kind of pulled to do that would make a huge difference in your life, that would set off this kind of good snowball effect?
And I would really encourage you to write things down. I think it seems sometimes like a waste of time when you have a lot to do, or just like a silly thing. But the more I write things down, the more likely it is to happen, even if I don't. Like, I think that's part of the reason, like, even just writing it down in the morning, usually I do all the things even if I don't look back at it, just because I wrote it down and it helps me remember. Yes. But there's like, isn't there like scientific studies? I mean, I don't actually know that the things that you write down,
Oh, of course,
are way more likely
to happen. You write even a goal. You write a goal down. It's like 80% more likely that you're going to do it just from the act of writing it down. And yeah, there's so much power in that. There's so much power in you. It's kind of like you taking ownership.
Well, it's funny because you have a place in your planner, your daily planner, that makes you write down your 90-day goal every single day.
Yeah.
And I used to be like,
why are we writing this down again?
Why do I need to write this down every day? It's not changing.
Right.
But I understand now, because even though I don't hit it every day, because one of them is waking up at 5 a.m. and there's not been that many times that on the dot at 5 a.m. I've been up.
Yeah.
But I'll write down the time under it that I did get up.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just like accountability with yourself. And also, like, it's not that deep. Like, just because I didn't actually hit that every single day doesn't mean that the intention behind what the goal was isn't having a real impact on my day-to-day life, because it really is.
Yes.
Even though
your brain, even though you might not be conscious of thinking about it, it's like you're telling your brain what you want it to focus on. Mm-hmm. And when you tell it what you want it to focus on, it doesn't get as distracted with the 1,000 negative things that it could, start reminiscing about and thinking about and obsessing about. So it's really good to give your brain something like that to think about. So that's one of the reasons that we like people to write it down, like keep it top of mind so that you're aiming high for something.
Yes.
And ask yourself, is there something that I'm doing in this day that's going to help me toward, that goal that I have, whether it's, to, like you said, to wake up at a certain time, whether it's to get an area of your house cleaned out. I mean, we've had all kinds of fun, 90-day goals. And it's not really even about the goal. It's about you creating your life with intention. And I want to say one last thing about this is that I used to do things like this from like, I should do it. I would kind of guilt myself. Well, you should be better. You should do this. And I have started in the past few years really creating a lot of desire for what I want. I really want to live a healthy, vibrant, energetic life. Mm-hmm. So I know that in order to do that, these are the things I want to put in place. I want that. It's not that I should do that. No, I really have a strong desire for that. Even things like, other things that might be your 90-day goals. Instead of saying to yourself, well, I should finally get in shape, or I should, do this. No, what do you really want to create in your life? What do you want your days to look like? And create that on purpose. I think about this all the time when I'm going to see the babies. What do I want today to be like? I want this to be magical and memorable for them. I want to show up, with my full-hearted self. I want to, maybe we'll go to the park, or maybe I usually have some kind of activity or something we're going to make together, when I go there. And it's just that little bit of intention that helps you really create the kind of life that you look back on and you go, oh, I'm so thankful that I did that, versus feeling like you get to the end of a day or in the end of a week or the end of a year and go, I don't even know what I did. I have nothing to show for it. Yep. So it's been a really fun way for me to live myself. And I have loved leading other women through it too, because again, you can look at it from the outside and go, well, that's kind of dumb. It's not even really that important, but the snowball effect of it can be, it can really be life-changing. So we wanted to let you guys know that the book that I created around all of these concepts is called Design Your Life 90 Days at a Time. And we used to really never sell the book itself. We would have people come in and do the course. But for a limited time, we're not sure how long we're going to keep it open. We've been letting people just try out the book. So this planner that we've been referring to, we're going to let you try it out if you want to. So Katie, what's the link? ediewadsworthcoaching.com/ she's going to find it for us.
We'll find it, but I will say, doing this daily practice of planning in this book, like, give it a try if you've never planned this way.
Yeah, it's really cool.
It really,
Okay, so ediewadsworthcoaching.com/guidebook or click below in the show notes.
Yep, it'll be in the show notes.
Try it out, dear ones. I think you'll love it.
And there's so much good teaching in the beginning of
the book. There's a lot of good teaching. We kind of show you how to use the book. And then there's 90 days of undated planner days in there. So
like basically what I've been talking about. I didn't even really realize that we were going to talk about the book.
We've had that guidebook for sale for a couple of weeks. And again, we're not sure how long we're going to leave it open, but we wanted to give people a chance to try it. After our last workshop, we had a lot of people say, oh my gosh, I would love to just try the book.
It's a great book, and like unironically, is that the word? I don't know what I'm trying to say, but literally using the planner every single day has really, really given me such a different experience of my last month. And I've had the planners for like 2-3 years.
And you've used them off and on in various degrees
I just feel like it's very much in this phase of my life. Like, I have no other choice but to be kind of more organized, and so I'm really relying on it more.
Yes.
And I'm like, wait, this is magical. Wait.
I love this.
This is actually why did no one tell me that if you plan every single day that you get so much done.
That you have more time.
You have more time, you have more fun, you have more energy. It's like really is blowing my mind currently in these moments. But yeah, like I've had these planners for the last 3 years, and I've like written in some of the days, but not intentionally.
Yeah.
More just to write.
Yeah.
And it's been changing my days for real.
Okay, everyone. Well, we're going to finish with our 3 favorite things.
Yes.
Okay.
So
I'm going to do mine quick.
You go quick.
Mine are all red, everyone.
Okay,
so,
and who is surprised?
Who's surprised by that?
Nobody.
Mine are all red. And let me tell you something. If you're watching on YouTube, you might notice that I've got on my crossbody purse while I'm recording a podcast.
The other day, I was editing a podcast. I was like, Mom kept her purse on. Why?
Well, here's what I told her. I said, it's kind of like a tool belt. I've got my Werthers. I've got my lip gloss. I've got my glasses.
Have we talked about Werthers?
We've talked about Werthers. Okay. I think we did.
Did we?
The old people candy. Yeah, we're into old people candy right now.
Yeah, I don't know if we've actually talked about this.
Well, I mean, maybe on the next podcast we'll should do a whole thing on Werthers. But anyways, so I have just been using it like a tool belt. I wore it all day while I kept the grandbabies, and I just had everything I needed right at my side. And of course, it's cute and red. My red viral Walmart dress, dear ones, please click the link below because this dress is so cute. We posted
I'm hoping it doesn't like sell out because seriously, so many people
have bought it already. I think it's like $30.
It's so cute.
So cute. It looks like something you would have bought at
Anthropologie. Yes.
It's so cute.
Genuinely.
So we'll put the link if it's not sold out, the Walmart dress, and then these little cutie red flip-flops. So I'm just all red.
You're all decked out in red. And as I was sitting here, I was kind of
Are you jealous of my red?
Well, we're actually coordinating.
Oh, because you stole my red socks.
Well, so this brings me to one of my favorite things at the moment is coming home and just stealing something of Mom's every single time. But lately it's been like cute socks, like ankle socks. And
so she's got my white and red striped and
I
throw
was like,
socks.
I'm going to be stealing these. I hope you don't mind. And then next, my favorite thing is these shoes that I waited like 4 months for. I ordered them from Anthropologie, actually not realizing that they were like back ordered.
Okay.
So I was like, oh, so excited for these shoes.
Forgot about them,
totally forgot about it. It's kind of like a surprise gift
that I gave myself.
But they're slip-on tennis shoes. So they've got the tie and everything, but they're slip-on. So like if I need to kick them off really quick or slip them on really quick. Like that is the best shoe you could give me. I love a slip-on, but I love a closed-toed shoe.
Okay.
And I love a slipper, and like I can't wear slippers out
just
in public,
everywhere.
you know? So this is, I think, going to be a super big game changer. They're the brand.
They are cute.
Back 70.
Okay.
I don't know.
I love them.
But I ordered them on Anthropologie.com, and they just got here after 3 months. So I actually probably shouldn't be linking them maybe they're not on the line.
Who knows?
But they
if they're
probably
still
have
around.
similar ones. We can look. Oh, my third favorite thing is actually been mentioned on this podcast before, and I never thought in my whole entire life that I would come on here like giving this support. But Mom,
you need to give credit where credit's due.
Yes, this is a pattern where I think Mom is crazy, and then I start doing the exact thing that I thought she was crazy for. But, you know,
Yes.
you guys know the podcast where she was like, I cut my own wolf bangs, like, here's the video, and everyone's like,
3-minute wolf bang video, everyone.
wolf bangs, wolfy bangs.
You wolfy bangs.
It is this guy, he seems like he's on something, and he's cutting really fast, and he's doing it
He's
really
putting
fast.
this girl's top part of her hair in a ponytail and cutting it off, and then he puts the back in a ponytail, cuts it off, and I
Now-
told him, I said, I did this, it works, it's beautiful, and she made me
I just have to show you
cut
too.
her wolf bangs,
So
guys.
I have like full on layers. I don't know if you can even see, but
It's so cute.
Mom cut my hair. This is a mom haircut, and I hope my hairstylist doesn't watch this because she spent a long time getting my hair cut perfect, and then Mom took her shears to it.
I mean, and not even official shears.
They're pretty good though.
They're pretty good, though.
They're pretty good, but
They are
yeah,
technically
and
hair
it
cutting.
actually is like I've gotten
It's so
more
cute.
compliments on my hair. Mostly because I did get it done like very soon before we cut it ourselves, but also on the haircut.
Yeah.
Like people are noticing my layers. Sometimes I get a little bit of a clip and I'm like, whoa, that's short.
We will link to this wolf bang video, but I highly recommend if you are in need of a
I
change.
will say,
it's
he
fantastic.
has you cutting really short. We didn't go so
You didn't go
short.
so short on yours, yeah.
No. So like we did more of like an inch each way.
Yeah.
So not as a dramatic of a cut. But I've absolutely loved it.
It's fantastic.
I've absolutely loved it. I felt like a brand new girl.
You're so welcome.
So yeah, thank you. What goes around comes around, and I guess I'm always just going to be doing exactly what you tell me to, but just 5 months later.
Yes. After you've laughed at me and
After I've
poked
made fun of you and roasted you on the podcast.
then she's going to be in with me.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Well, thank you so much for listening. We love you so
Yes,
much.
we love
Create
you.
a powerful routine that unlocked your creativity and more energy and more productivity. And we will see you next time.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.